When you think about international espionage, what comes to mind? Well, the stakes are way higher than just life and death. We're talking about the security of entire nations, the outcome of wars, the actual fate of millions. It's a world that exists in the deepest, darkest shadows, completely hidden from you and me. You see, the agents who work in this world, they're practically ghosts. Their wins are state secrets, their failures are personal tragedies, and their names almost never spoken. They make sacrifices we can't even begin to wrap our heads around, all for a cause they believe in. We all see spies in the movies, right? In films like Razi or even the fictional Durandar, we get hooked on the glamour, the fast-paced action, the thrill of it all. But what's the real deal? Well, it's a world built on massive sacrifice and absolute secrecy, not glory. And the consequences, they can be absolutely devastating. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to move past all the fiction to get to the real stories of India's covert agents and ask, what does it really take to be a spy? Okay, let's dive in. To really get a grip on these stories, we have to understand the basic rules of this very dangerous game. So first things first, what exactly is a covert operation? At its core, a covert op is a mission that's designed to be totally invisible. The whole point is to influence things in another country, politically, militarily, you name it, but to do it in a way where the government behind it can look you straight in the eye and say, nope, wasn't us. And check this out. This definition from the U.S. National Security Act just nails it. The key phrase is that the sponsor's role must not be apparent or acknowledged publicly. That idea, plausible deniability, is everything. It's the ultimate safety net for a country if an operation goes south. So what's actually involved in one of these missions? Well, step one is always intelligence gathering. You have to know your enemy. Then comes cover and concealment, building an identity that's 100% believable. Technology, of course, plays a huge part in everything from communication to surveillance. And then there's the final piece, the constant, crushing risk that hangs over every single move. All right, so let's see how all this plays out in real life. We're going to look at the absolutely incredible stories of two Indian agents. Their lives show you exactly how this game is played and the unbelievable sacrifices it demands. We'll start with Sehmat Khan, who you might know as the inspiration for the movie Razi. Her book's editor, Vaishali Mathur, said it perfectly. Heroes are not different people, but they choose to do things differently. And believe me, the choices Sehmat made were nothing short of extraordinary. Just imagine this. She was a young college student from Kashmir. To honor her dying father's last wish, she agrees to become a spy right before the 1971 India-Pakistan War. She then marries the son of a Pakistani general, embedding herself deep, deep inside enemy lines. From there, she starts sending critical intel about naval movements back to India, using Morse code. Her mission was so dangerous that at one point, she actually had to kill a family aide who was getting suspicious, all to protect her cover. Her story became a legend. But here's the thing. For every incredible story like hers that we get to hear, there are countless others that just stay hidden in the dark. So now, I want you to meet an agent known only by his codename, Black Tiger. This is the story of Ravindra Kaushik. He was actually spotted by India's intelligence agency, RAW, because he was a talented actor. In 1975, they sent him into Pakistan as a deep cover agent. For 8 years. 8 years, he lived a complete lie. He didn't just blend into Pakistani society, he actually infiltrated their army and rose all the way to the rank of major, all while sending vital information back to India. But then, in 1983, another agent was caught and blew his cover. He was captured, and he spent the rest of his life in a Pakistani prison, where he died in 2001. So, you have to be wondering, right? How on earth did they actually do it? Living under that kind of pressure, gathering that kind of intelligence, it's almost impossible to imagine. Let's take a look at the Spies toolkit. So, the foundation of all spying has always been what you'd call classic spycraft. We're talking about things like physical surveillance, literally watching a target without them knowing, and something called human intelligence, or HUMINT. That's the real art of recruiting informants to get you information from the inside. This is the old school, high-risk stuff. But of course, today's world is totally different. Now, agents have some unbelievable tech backing them up. Surveillance drones, cyber intelligence that can hack into digital systems, biometrics tech like facial recognition, it's completely changed the game, creating all sorts of new opportunities and new dangers. But here's the thing. Technology can only take you so far. At the absolute heart of it all is the human factor. A raw assessment of Ravinder Kaushik specifically noted his exceptional emotional stability. He had to have it. He spent 2 full years in intense training, mastering Urdu, studying Islam, adopting every little Pakistani mannerism, until his fake identity felt more real than his own. It's a psychological feat that is just mind-boggling. Now, what's truly fascinating, and honestly deeply sobering, is what happens after the mission is over, or when it all goes wrong. What is the real price of living a life wrapped in secrecy? The brutal reality of this world is right here. Just look at the different fates of our 2 agents. Samet Khan's story was eventually told. It was celebrated in a book, turned into a blockbuster movie. She became a known, if unsung, heroine. But Ravindra Kaushik, the Black Tiger, he died completely forgotten in a foreign prison, and he was buried in an unmarked grave. The tragedy of it is just profound. In letters he somehow smuggled out of prison to his family, Kaushik wrote about his deep anguish over being forgotten by the very country he gave up everything for. His story really shines a light on the darkest part of espionage, the possibility of total abandonment. And it also forces us to ask some pretty tough questions about how and why these stories even get told in the first place. Some operations become these grand national myths, celebrated to boost morale. But then you see online that other stories, especially the really cinematic ones, sometimes get dismissed as just propaganda. It shows you just how blurry the line between history and myth-making can really get. So in the end, when you strip away all the Hollywood glamour and the fog of national pride, you're just left with human stories. Stories of real people who gave up their names, their families, and ultimately their lives. And that leaves us with one final, haunting question. How much can a nation really ask of a single person?